Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining from. Season's greeting to Frankie. Thanks for joining. I don't know why that popped up just now. Having a little bit of glitches with the map. This is what I get for changing everything. Didn't quite get all the glitches worked out before we started, but I do have a backup which is working, so at least there's that. This is the lovely map of everyone who said hi in the chat this morning. And we are going to jump right in, I guess, and talk about a couple of new updates that have been coming out for a few different products. And also, if you have any questions, start your message with the letter Q, and it'll pop up on my screen here. Oh, and now they're all showing up. Well, great. Okay. I think I know what I did wrong then. That's funny. Okay, I made a whole bunch of changes to this. So this is hilarious that this is happening. Yeah, now we've got even more coming in. Florida. There we go. Okay. We've got a koala from Florida, David from Oregon State. So what's going to happen if this all works right is, with any luck, we're going to have some weather updates from all of the locations for where everybody's joining from. And that is going to be able, let me let me bring this on the stream really quick. Hopefully this one works. We're going to turn that off for a second and get rid of those. There we go. So with any luck, our little ticker at the bottom of the screen here is rotating through all the cities that you all are joining from with a weather report from the city, and it will rotate between Fahrenheit and Celsius. I thought it looked distracting when it showed both for some reason, but anyway, wow, cold day in Las Vegas. So, yes, it's me tools says, how do you do the map and the countdown? That is a lot of JavaScript that I have written over the last long period of time. And it is, I made a bug in it apparently, so I have to go fix it now. That's what I get for working on a bunch of changes yesterday. I was basically just working on this all day yesterday, working on new graphics for this to get the weather to work and things like that. But it'll be fun. Oh, I like the Christmas wishes. Where did that start? That was... It was Graham, yeah. All I want for Christmas is a working stinger button on my ATEM. Yeah. Someday. Marcus says, all I want for Christmas is for the ATEM support Samsung S7 drives. So, and then Recover and I says, my Samsung S7s work great. Last I checked, those were not on the supported list, but it is possible that they have been added. Let's double check if they are here today. Support Blackmagic. Let's see, we should have, let's go to the ATEM family. Telephone Studio HD8, no, we want ATEM Mini. This one. Are they on the list today? They are not. Still just Samsung T5, 1 terabyte, not the 2 terabyte. If it's working for you, great. However, it is definitely likely that it will stop working at some point. If it's not on this list, there might be little weird bugs with it. It might be fine if you're only doing like one camera, but as soon as you do ISO, it might have problems, things like that. So if it's not on the list, I wouldn't trust it, honestly, and I would probably just switch to something that's on this list as soon as you can. And they do keep this up to date as they're doing testing, so it's worth checking back in on this every now and then. Okay, how is the map doing? Great. We've got some more cities coming in, so we should hopefully get some more cities coming down this weather report. Can the ATEM stream 24/7 all year round? I would say mostly yes. There, at some point, it'll probably have some sort of crash if it's actually streaming for that long. Like it's made to be on all the time, but it's possible it'll crash. Just it happens. Sometimes it gets hung up and stuff, especially when there's bad internet connection. It's probably gonna be the internet's fault, honestly. But yeah, I would say absolutely. If you actually want to do that, I would suggest automating as much as possible of being able to restart it remotely. So like put it on a remote power switch, like a Wi-Fi power switch or something where you can reboot it. Because you can make it reboot and it won't start streaming when it reboots, but you need to also have a way to run that command remotely. But it'll be really quick. Like it takes only a couple seconds to boot up. So if something does go wrong, flick the power off and on, it'll come back, everything will be restored, and then hit the start stream button remotely, ideally. And your stream should only be offline for like 10 seconds at the most. So yeah, I would say not a problem. Oh, good question. I would love to multi-stream to YouTube, Facebook, and X16.9, and also Instagram, but would love the user experience to be the same. Any recommendations? So, wait, user experience for you or for the viewers? that's because that's a different question there. So Instagram, of course, is gonna be vertical, but they did just launch Rtmp ingestion, so you can now use tools like Restream.io or any streaming encoders that can push to multiple places, and you can push a horizontal canvas. It's just going to crop in. So I actually did a video explaining this whole thing. If you are curious, you want to go see that, I will grab this link to a video I did last week on this for the viewer. So here's Instagram Rtmp details. And so that's actually then, if you want the viewer to see a 16:9 canvas on Instagram, you won't, you're going to have to use a whole separate encoding path. What I mean by that is, so if you're streaming this horizontal canvas, Instagram is going to crop in and take this middle sliver and show that. If you give Instagram a vertical canvas, it'll show the whole thing. So what you need is you need to grab a second encoder, take the horizontal feed out of your main one, put it inside of a little box. I made a little template for this actually, because I was, let's see, where did I put it? Graphics. Nope. Oh, yes, Instagram. Of course, I don't have. I just installed a new computer here, so I haven't installed all my apps on here yet. And it is not. I don't have Affinity Photo on here yet. Where did I? Darn. Oh, you know what? It's on an SD card for in the YoloBox. So what you do is I'm gonna have to find that. I'm gonna have to find that SD card. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Shoot. I don't know where it went. I don't know where the YoloBox is. Oh, maybe it's on the Mini. No, it's not on the Mini, of course. I should have a PNG version of it somewhere around here. What the heck? Oh, I know what I can do. Grab my other computer where I do have Affinity Photo installed. And so that is... Oh, okay. I found it. It is a PNG. Why is it? I'm just bad at finding. There it is. Okay. Bad at finding things. This is what I was looking for. So if you make a graphic like this with a slot in the middle, so put something at the top and bottom that has to do with your channel art, and leave a slot for the 16:9 video here. And then in a totally separate encoder, go make a vertical canvas. And you could do this in OBS or a hardware encoder or something. You'll need to grab the main video feed and insert it here. So I can't do this in OBS right now because I'm actually using OBS for the stream and I can't mess it up. But that's what you need to do. Pull your stream into there. And then on Instagram, people are going to see the full canvas of your horizontal stream with this little text on the top and bottom. So that's the trick. But it does require two different canvases. Do I have a video on my channel explaining streaming 16:9 to Instagram? No, but I should do that. That's a good idea for a video now. But that TLDR is what I just described. Okay. Neil says there's a new video from VMix about streaming to Instagram and other services at the same time, if you want to go down that route. Cool, yeah. That makes sense. Gerhard says the Samsung T7 1TB works fine. ISO recording with 5 video inputs. I'm glad it's working for you. I just know that it was, I believe that one was on the list at one point and they took it off. And I did have it fail at one point with mine, so I just stopped using it. And Clear Life Media uses a SanDisk 2TB on the HyperDeck. Cool, okay. Oh, MT says, info, update. My HyperDeck now runs on PoE. The main power still won't work. Oh, darn, okay. Cool. So is our little weather ticker, how's our weather ticker doing? We've got 12 cities. I feel like we had more cities reporting in. I wonder why some of them are not there. Would rotate the video 90 degrees help? Could a user turn their device to watch? I think people have done that. I don't think it's the best option, because as soon as you want to like comment or use the app in any kind of way, like hit the like button, it's all gonna be sideways. So yeah. MT says, I would prefer an encoder for every stream and not rely on a single device for all that, just in case. Yeah, also a good point. Using separate encoders for each platform is safer, because then you can troubleshoot one without taking the rest of them down. Neil says, this is why some Rtmp encoders have the option to reboot every X hours and days. Yeah. Oh, and we've got Steve joining. Cool. Your weather should be in the rotation now too. At some point it'll get back there. Oh, I don't even have Portland on here. Apparently I need to say hi from Portland. And then we'll get that into the rotation too. It's kind of fun to see the temperature everywhere. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's oh, there it goes. Good. Okay, things are kind of working. Only a couple little glitches. And the problem is that the glitch is that it's popping up automatically without me clicking on it, which it wasn't supposed to do. It was supposed to not pop up automatically, but still like log the location. So I need to go figure out what's going on. But whatever, it's fun. Ronnie says, what are your current stream settings? So what I'm doing today is I'm streaming from the rack there has the ATEM Constellation for me, which is what all my cameras and stuff are plugged into. And that outputs to the Blackmagic web presenter. And the web presenter is streaming at about 6 megabits, the streaming high setting. And it is streaming from the web presenter straight up to YouTube. So yeah, about 6 megabit stream. And it's, let's see, can you see it here? No, it's kind of blocked by this light. So I can see the output up there, and it's showing me the audio levels and the, what's on the program and the current data rate, which is 6 megabits. So I love that all the place names are popping up now. Let's add Cape Town to the weather stream. You might need to just say Cape Town by itself for that to work, because I think it maybe have gotten confused with some of the other words in your message. Okay, so we've got people from people from all over now. Look at this little line. That's funny. Okay, let me scroll back up. Clear Life Media says, can you run multiple Stream Decks on a single computer? So if I got a USB distributor in the trailer, can I use it to put 8 Stream Decks that operate individually? Yes, you absolutely can. So I've never done it with the Stream Deck software itself, but I've absolutely done it with Companion, and I do have that running right now, actually. So I have a Stream Deck on this desk, and this is plugged into the Raspberry Pi that's in the rack back there. And on the table, I also have a Stream Deck over there, and that's plugged into the same Raspberry Pi. So those are both plugged into the Raspberry Pi, and that is it works fine. In Companion, what we see is you actually see both surfaces here. So it sees 2 Stream Decks here, and it's able to use both of them just fine. They're not like linked together, so if I like change pages on one, the other one doesn't change, which is how I want it. So if you don't have the option of doing that because like you don't have the cables long enough or you're in totally different places, there's also this option of Companion Satellite, which is a way to, oh, I like how David's video is on here. This is basically a little program that talks to a Stream Deck, but then it connects to a main Companion instance. So it doesn't really do anything except just relays the button presses and stuff back and forth. So that's another option. Oh, excellent. We've got Australia on the map now. Cool. We'll get your weather into the rotation too then. Yeah, there we go. Steve says, what's the best way to integrate my current OBS setup with my new ATEM Mini Pro? What is your current OBS setup? So there's generally 2 ways you can do this, depending on what you want to use them for. If you have your cameras plugged into the ATEM, which is how I would expect it to work, then you can use that to switch cameras and feed just one webcam into OBS. So you're in OBS, you would bring in the ATEM as a webcam, and that lets you offload your computer to not have to deal with 4 video streams all the time, and it's just dealing with one video stream. So so that's one way to do it. If you want to actually stream from OBS, like stream and add graphics and stuff into OBS. The other way to do it is to use OBS just for graphics and overlay them in the ATEM, which is how I'm doing it now, but I'm doing it with a separate hardware that has 2 outputs, so I can do transparency better. Otherwise, you're doing just chroma keying or luma keying. And in an ATEM Mini, of course, you only have 4 inputs, so the OBS would take up one of those. But if you get bigger ATEMs, then you can take up 2 inputs, one for the main color fill channel and one for the alpha channel, and then you can get really good graphics. So depends on if you want to be streaming from OBS still or using the ATEM for the streaming, pushing the stream out. Nils has a very good point. 8 Stream Decks will consume a lot of power. Get a decent powered USB hub too. Yeah, I didn't realize I forgot that you mentioned you wanted to plug in 8. That is a lot of power. I have noticed that just powering 2 Stream Decks off the Raspberry Pi, I'm not going through a powered hub. I'm powering 2 off of like each individual output USB ports from the Raspberry Pi. When it turns on and the Stream Decks turn on, it draws too much power and the Stream Decks start going on and off. So actually, if I'm rebooting the Pi, I have to temporarily unplug one of the Stream Decks, let things boot up, and then I can plug it in, and then it's fine. And just apparently when they all turn on, they draw too much power and it has a little brown up. Andre says, I was doing a bit of testing on the various YoloBox units on USB webcam out. They seem to have a lot of latency. Nowhere near the ATEM USB out performance. Yeah, I'm not surprised, because with the YoloBox, it's all going through the CPU. So, and that's not at all how the ATEM works. So I'm not surprised, but I guess you just have to use it for things where that's okay. I still haven't really had a need to use the USB out of the YoloBox or the Director Mini, because that's just not how I use these things. Michael says, is there a way in Companion to read all files in a directory and store them in an array? I haven't ever tried that. Let's see if we can find something really quick. I've never thought about files. Let's see. I don't even know what what connection that would be. Is there like a file system, generic file reader? Okay. Reads a file. That's going to read a file. So probably not. Is there like a command shell console? No, probably not then. I'm not seeing anything there. So if you had your list of files in a file, you could read that file, apparently. But yeah. David says I have Stream Decks going through a powered hub that guarantees how much power can be delivered per USB port. That's cool. Very cool. Oops, Gwen says the time weather bar is hiding the end of long comments. I see that. I had not noticed that. I'll have to figure that out. I wonder what I should do. I guess I could just move the comments up a little bit. David says I have to disable Companion from using the Stream Deck and manage. Oh yeah, it is cutting that off. Manage everything through the Stream Deck software via the Companion button plugin. Now I can control OBS and Companion functions together. If you're running it off of a computer, then that's not a bad way to go. It's a little bit more cumbersome having to make all the little buttons, Companion buttons in the Stream Deck. But if you want to use your regular Stream Deck functions on your computer, but this is why I run it on a Raspberry Pi, so I'm not tempted to do that because it can't do anything else. The Pi can't do anything else with it. So it's not connected to my computer at all. What's the use case for 8 Stream Decks? One for each use case: audio, production, stream location. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if you have a crew working with you too, then you might have, 4 Stream Decks per person or something. That's fine. What's your experience in automation using rundowns like in news broadcasts? I haven't done a whole lot of that because most of that, like this live stream, is just free form. Although I'm gonna possibly add some more structure to it, but things kind of went sideways this morning on that plan. But the other time I did a show, it was like an 8-hour long live stream with some pre-scheduled recordings. Like some of them were recorded playback, some of them were live, some were remote guests. That was like 2 years ago now. And I didn't do any like exact. I didn't do the rundown on the automation the way you would do on like for radio or TV. It was a little bit more manual. So I haven't like played around with any of the software that can do that kind of stuff either. Oh, thank you, Graham, for the super chat. Thanks for all your useful information. Got to dip out soon. Most of the pubs here are closing early for some odd reason. Can't imagine why they would be closing early. Yes. Well, thank you for joining, even though it is evening over there. Let's see, how's our map looking? So one of the changes here that I did yesterday was I can now pull up this map during a stream. It's not only during the countdown anymore, so that's kind of fun. It also means I can like zoom in and see where people are from. Oh, and this one apparently doesn't update automatically, so I have to reload it for that India to pop up. There we go. Nice. Thanks for joining. I'll smooth this out. This is the first day with the new map. Oh yeah, Nils makes a good point. You can control OBS through Companion, or does that implementation lack any features that you need? It's a good point, and I actually need to set that up because this is a new computer and I haven't linked those together yet. So, and now I can't remember how to do that if I have to do something different to link it together. Let's see. Here's OBS. Yeah, error connecting. So, oh, that's because it's my old computer IP address. But I don't remember how to turn on the server for this. Yeah, I don't remember where that is in here at all because I did it so long ago. Is it in... Wow. I did this once years ago when I first set up this computer, the previous computer apparently, and then completely forgot how to add the remote automation. I'll deal with it later because I have to. Yeah. Tools, WebSockets. Let's see. Tools. Aha, WebSockets are enable. There we go. And let's see if that works now. And hey, it's connected. Oh, that was easy. So now I can do things like, let's say, let's see what actions we have. OBS, not OBSBOT. But I don't have my control zoom setting. All these things that you have to do on a new computer. Zoom, use scroll gesture with modifier keys to zoom. There we go. Now I can do that. It's a good tip for, okay, OBS. Now I can zoom in on that. Not OBSBOT, regular OBS. Oh, there's a ton of stuff. You can do a lot here. So yeah, take a look at this if you want, because this might have everything you need to do. So actually what I want to do is change scenes. So let's see. Because I actually want to do this. Don't enable dictation. OBS program scene. Okay, yeah, that looks right. Because this has, I have some more overlays. Let's press that button, see if it works. OBS scene with overlays. Let's see if this works. No? Oh, right, because I have my sources turned off. So I actually want to make a source OBS set filter. No, set source visibility. That's what I want. So for that scene, I'm going to turn on the headlines and also, I love the new copy feature. Also that. And now we can go into our headlines for the stream. There we go. Yeah, so I did actually want to cover a couple of interesting headlines of things that I saw coming out this week. This week-ish. The first one is Blackmagic did a firmware update, launched a firmware update for the Ursa cameras and the web presenter. And they added a REST API. So there's now like a full REST API to control this in addition to the like socket API that was on there before. So it's a it's a not really visible change, at least right now, but it will make it a lot easier for people to build tools to automate these things. So also they didn't update their manual. I was trying to go find it, and the manual is last updated on the 15th. But if you download the software, the manual's in the software. So we can go take a look at that really quick, because I can show you at least the documentation of the REST API. So there's a whole bunch of stuff it can do now, and this just means that you can so you can write software in any language now really easily to like query this or change scenes or change streaming settings. So like here's the command to start the live stream or to stop the live stream. And there's also like streaming settings. Where is it? You can change the, yeah, here it is. Oh, you can get all the settings too, like get all the stream platforms that are configured here, but you can also modify them, so, or delete them. Basically, it just means that it's going to be a lot easier for people to write software to manage the web presenter and the Ursa cameras, because it's just a lot easier to do it this way. And so I'm assuming that like maybe the companion module will get updated for this. It works fine right now though, so maybe it doesn't need an update. But what's interesting is I'm very curious about whether this means that like more of the Blackmagic products are going to get the REST API, maybe the ATEM as well, and whether that means new features that are going to get added to the REST API that maybe don't get added in the older API. So we'll keep an eye on that. And but yeah, I'm excited for that. It means that like at least now if someone doesn't update the companion module fast enough, it's a lot easier to just write a little command, or you can even go into OBS and create, or into companion and just create like a HTTP post now. So now you can just like send it a custom HTTP method if you wanted to, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's exciting. That is good news. And the other, let's see. Actually, you know what I want to do? Where did I put this? We're going to run through the headlines really quick. Yes. Oops, it's in the wrong order. After all that. There's supposed to be headlines on the screen. Why is that covering it up? Interesting. I got this wrong. My little ticker on the bottom is supposed to be on top of this. How did I get... Huh. Aha! There was an extra thing. That's what it was. I knew I had done this right. Downstream key 3 was on for some reason. That explains it. Okay, yes. This is what I wanted it to look like. Much better. Little show notes here. Yeah, so Blackmagic REST API. We talked a little bit about Instagram's Rtmp feature now already, which is that you can stream from any streaming encoder. You do have to upgrade your account to a professional account. That's the only limit, but there's no like gatekeeping checks for that. Anybody can do it as long as you don't mind your account being a professional account. Mine already was, so I just had the go live feature already. And yeah, it's great. So if you stream horizontal, it'll crop in. If you stream vertical, it'll show the full canvas and gives you a ton of possibilities for using tons of different tools. Another update is I know a lot of people have been asking, new PK1 cage for the YoloBox Ultra. So actually, I want to go take a look at that because it is, I need that to go off the screen now. I do want to take a look at that because I haven't actually assembled mine yet. So let's go over to the table and do that really quick. This is so here's all the little parts for the stand. I need to zoom this out a bit. I think that was zoomed in to show a close-up of something. So I got the YoloBox Ultra, and now I need to actually put this all together. So we're going to do this really quick. Let me also grab a link really quick to the stand. Where are my notes? There it is. So the cool thing about this stand is this new piece here, which I'll show you how that works in a second. But let's get this out of the package really quick and grab all the little parts. Please use washers. Do not over tighten. Good tips. So first thing is, I guess, this bar. I will use the washer. Don't over tighten. Okay. 1 and 2. Then we put the YoloBox in. Look at that. Fits well. And then do this side. Gotta get it lined up just right. There it goes. Okay. And I don't know where I'm out of washers. Oops, that's the wrong screw. There it goes. No, it just wasn't in far enough. There it goes. Okay. Oh, shoot. What's going on? There. Something is not the right size. Something is not lined up. That's why the screw wasn't going. What is... They didn't change the Ultra on us, did they? Huh. It looks like the aluminum bar is short. That's not good. Well, we can... It's like the aluminum bar is too short or the YoloBox is too big. And I wonder if that's actually what happened. Because this is... They were working off of a prototype of the YoloBox, which I thought was the same size. Okay, well, we'll make sure we get that fixed before they send any more out. But the cool thing about this is, let's see, do I have my, yeah. The cool thing about it is these little feet. So these pop out, and then it's a desktop stand. So you can use in both modes because people often were asking for that. So use it like that if you want on a desk, or fold those in, and now it's a cage, which means you can put it on a tripod and all that stuff. I should have slid these little things in before I put the side part on, because that'll let me attach the handle and stuff. But we can do that really quick, because that's, yeah, so I would recommend slide in a couple of these slide in nuts on the top and on the bottom. Before you close it up. Then they get locked in there once it's done. There we go. Yeah, I think it's just the aluminum bar is a hair short. Because once it's like this, yeah. Okay, well, I will make sure I let them know, and we'll get that fixed up. But yeah, now that those are in here, you can do things like attach the top handle if you want cold shoes on the top. You can also, if you want on the bottom, if you don't want to use that screw hole, you could use these to attach a larger cheese plate to give you more mounting holes. So that's that. Yeah, the little feet are very cool. I think that's a very nice touch they did. Yeah. So, okay. What was the other? Nice design. I like the hot shoes. Yeah, those are very cool. Let me go back here and oh, funny. Why did downstream 3? Oh no, 3 is not on. I just need to automate that. I might need that in like, I need to think about my OBS organization for this. Yeah. So another interesting thing that caught my attention this week, which I hadn't actually heard of this app before. It's called Camerafi. And Camerafi is a streaming app for iPhone, iOS, and it's like relatively straightforward streaming app, I guess. It does things like you can add text and graphics and overlays and stuff inside the app, so that's cool. Let's actually set this up really quick because I can show a quick little stream from here. Yeah, I gotta find a way to tie that. So the Camerafi app, it's gonna go stream to my Magewell Pro Convert. Go. Yes, I want to stream. Okay. Yeah. Now it's streaming over to the Pro Convert, which is this one. This one. There we go. So there's the stream from my phone's camera. So that's great, but you can also then do things like there's a whole library of tools in here. Where are they? Like graphics that you can put in the corner or whatever, and then you can see it popping up Other, little animations and stuff. A bunch of these are you have to unlock and get the pro version to use them. But so it's like you can run your entire stream off of this. Basically, is the idea. And was the wrong microphone on? Jeez. I am on the wrong mic, sorry. Well, this is what I get for not pushing the buttons on my Stream Deck in the right order. Anyway, this is Camerafi. It's a simple streaming app that has like built-in graphics and stuff. Some of these are locked because I didn't buy the pro version. This is just the free version. So there's like this little graphic. Well, we gotta get the starting screen out of there. And this is the stream from it. So this is streaming to the Magewell. Oh, the little lower third is covered up by other graphics. It's fine. But obviously this is going to only really like work for you if you're okay with the phone, using the phone camera, because, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to see what graphics are on air. There it is. I don't remember where that one came from. There it is. So this is using the phone's camera, which is like fine and useful, but obviously not everybody wants to just use their phone camera. So the new update here is that the ATEM SIMO now is able to work with this application. So this lets you, it's basically a capture card for the iPhone. So it's just this little box that the phone is clamped into. So you plug in a good camera into that turns it into a feed that the iPhone can use. And then you can actually use good cameras inside the streaming app. So that's, I think that's a cool update. That's good to see. The other last headline for the day, Hollyland released a new version of the Mars 400S Pro, S Pro 2. It's a lot of numbers there. And it looks like it's a relatively minor update to the product, but it seems like it's a good update. So this is same form factor as the, go back. Go back to that one. There it is. Apparently I can't actually click on them. Mars 402. So Pro 2. So same form factor as the 400S from before, and the changes are basically slightly better, longer range, and slightly less delay. So I don't have this in to test it, but they're claiming that it's down to 70 milliseconds, down from 100, and slightly longer range. I would never trust these at the maximum end of their range anyway, but at least it's got a slightly more powerful antenna. But the latency is I think, more significant one. So down to 70 milliseconds, which is great for something at this price. If I do get them in to test, I will make sure to actually compare that and see how much it compares to the old one. Hollyland's taking notes about long naming schemes from Blackmagic. It's true. Yep. Cool. Alex says I think the company that makes the YoloBox should do an app version. That's an interesting idea. With the ATEM SIMO, it could actually be a viable option, because the problem with phones is that they don't have HDMI inputs, so you're only using except for that one Sony phone. I don't even know what happened to it. But the SIMO is essentially a capture card for a phone. So if you did plug that in, you'd be able to actually then use the YoloBox app on a phone and at least have one HDMI camera and then the phone's camera. It's still pretty limiting. I don't know how useful that would actually be. And I think the big problem is that people will be running on all sorts of different kinds of phones with various ranges of hardware capabilities. And then I think people would have a lot of problems with it, because like when they're shipping it on the YoloBox hardware, they know exactly the CPU it's going to be on, and they know exactly the capabilities of that CPU, and they know how far they can push it. But a slightly underpowered phone would probably give a really bad experience of using the app. So interesting idea. I wouldn't hold my breath for it. What do I think about the OC Ghost Stream deck? So I actually did a whole long demo of it on this channel if you're curious. It was like, I think over an hour long live demo of it, and just search the channel for OC. It is a really interesting device. I think it's really promising. I think they fixed a lot of people's complaints about the original ATEM Mini Pro line, and it can do like almost everything the ATEM can do and more, and it has more inputs and outputs. The big limit right now is that there's no external control protocol for it, and I believe they're working on adding that so that it can be controlled with Companion. That way you can actually write automations for it and tie it in with the rest of the gear. But otherwise, it's like it's a solid little box. It's really great. Any size Pelican or Harbor Freight that would fit the YOLO Ultra with the rig? I don't know. That's a good question. I wonder actually if this one that I have here would fit. This is this is the case for an old Atomos recorder that I bought ages ago, and I sold the recorder and forgot to sell the case with the recorder. So now I just have an empty case. But if I cut up the foam, it looks like it probably would fit. Yeah, I would. There's a good chance a bunch of cases would fit that. It's not super tall. It looks like it's about the same thickness as the YoloBox Pro rig cage. So if you have that one for comparison, it's probably slightly bigger, but doesn't look too much different. The oh yeah, speaking of that case, I have a bunch of used gear for sale. I'm doing an end of year clean out here. So if you are looking for a deal on some stuff that I've got in the studio here, take a look at shop.rtmp.tv. Oh, thanks, Manon, for the comment that popped up automatically because of India. I will get to that in a second. Scroll down to the used gear section, and there's that hardshell case. I shipped out a bunch of these things about 2 weeks ago after the last stream, but I still have a bunch more. So if you're looking for a good deal on lights or other random accessories around here, take a look here, and I will ship these out as soon as I can, probably Tuesday, since I think everything's closed tomorrow. I dropped all the prices on these by about 10-15% compared to 2 weeks ago. So if you were on the fence then, slightly better deal now. And yeah, I am hoping to get some more stuff out of here because, as you can see, the floor is full of stuff that I need to get out of here. Yes, okay, got the TV Studio HD 8 ISO. I'm glad to hear my videos were helpful, and I hope you enjoy it. That is a fun one. Congrats to your new toy, delivered right for Christmas. Exactly. MediaVex is heading into the theater for a movie. Have a safe holiday, everybody. Well, you too. Thanks for joining. What do you think about a box like a docking station, but backwards? All inputs, so you can use it with a phone or iPad app. I don't have any idea if it's possible for phones to pull in that much data over their ports. It'd be cool though. Yeah, for sure. Multi capture card. I mean, that barely exists for computers, right? Like I actually just bought this and it's coming on Wednesday. So, gonna have some more fun stuff to put together. Where is it? Capture and playback. These cards from Blackmagic support multiple video streams in or out. So I actually got the, I just got the, not the most expensive one, Duo. Where is it? 3G SDI. Yeah, Decklink Duo 2. Oh my God, the cats running to their food. I forgot to put up the cat cam for you. Sorry. Maybe I can look at the replay. But yeah, so this one, which has 4 connections, so you can put them into input or output mode. My plan is to use it for outputting feeds from Zoom ISO. So for remote guests, I can be in a Zoom call and then pull someone's video feed into an SDI port into the switcher. Although I am running out of inputs on the switcher, so I'm going to need to do something about that. I can't believe it, but my 40 inputs are getting filled up. I've got only a couple unused. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are totally not assigned yet. But I could be smarter about some of these. Like I might end up putting some of these devices behind either the SDI Matrix or just another ATEM Mini, because I don't always use all of them all the time. Like I have the Bird Dog in here. I have the Fire TV, which I rarely use those. Oh, and now I also, this is not really used. I have my Unify camera feed player thing in here as well. So I could put those behind an SDI Matrix. Oh, here's one unused. Camera 40 is still not used. So I could put some of those behind either SDI Matrix or another ATEM to free up some of these inputs. Because if I'm going to have 4 outputs coming from a computer into this, yeah. Plus the new 2110 gadgets, which I'll be getting soon. What new computer did you put into the desk? So this is the new M2 Mac Mini. I realized that the so what I did when I first bought the M1 Mac, when the M1 was first launched, is I bought the base model, like cheapest base model, and that was, so it was 8 gigs of RAM and 256 SSD. Not a big enough hard drive. And what I ended up doing was putting an external drive in for all the files that are on the computer. And that drive, I filled it up with apps and stuff. So that was becoming a problem. But also the 8 gigs of RAM is just not really enough. And because I run OBS on this for all the web graphics, like the tickers on the bottom and the music and the countdown timer and all that, I was noticing, if you ever notice in the intro, sometimes the music would get like slightly out of pitch, like go slightly up or down in pitch. It's because the computer is just struggling doing that website, running the website, and it was like messing up the audio that way. So today, the intro was on the M2. I messed up the graphics for other reasons because I was changing up a bunch of how the internal plumbing works, but I didn't hear it get out of tune, either because I wasn't paying attention to that or because it's fixed. So we'll see. What PCIe enclosure did I get for the deck link? I got the Sonnet. Let me go grab the actual link. These are also mouthfuls of product names. There we go. Oh, that's not gonna work. This is the Sonnet Echo Express SE3E. Yeah. Oh, let's drop the link in here. Sonnet Thunderbolt. So that is this one. I wanted one with 3 cards because I felt like it was silly to use up a whole Thunderbolt port for just one card, and I already have 2 cards I want to plug in. So one is the Decklink Duo for the 4 SDI outs, and now the other one's going to be the 2110 card to get video over that way as well. Hopefully this M2 is powerful enough for it. Now my Echo Dot is looking for it. What did I say? Did I say Alexa? Musty says, I have a quick question. I have an Ultra Studio 4K Mini and ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. What's the best way to have live graphics that I can edit in real time? I also have Wirecast Pro as software. Honestly, OBS is a pretty good way to do it. So the best is to run from your Ultra Studio 4K Mini, which is the one that has the that one has the 2. I'm just trying to pull up the diagram here. 4K Mini. This is the one that I actually have. So I use this one for this show right now. This has 2 SDI outs, A and B. So what this is the output A will be the main graphics with the color, but output B will be the alpha channel. So it'll look like a black and white feed of just like a mask. And then in the ATEM, you can actually go and configure a downstream key to use that. So here I have my 2 SDIs coming in from the Ultra Studio. So the fill source is A, the key source is the B one, and then you check pre-multiplied key, and then the downstream key is able to have a nice transparency around it. So to build graphics, you can just go into OBS and do stuff. So like this is what's actually on the stream right now. So it's actually on the ticker. So if I go and add if I add a color source, for example, this is gonna take over the stream. There we go. So you can do graphics in OBS however you want. So you can see as I'm dragging this around, the little box is actually on the stream because this is outputting. This is what's actually outputting. So you can bring in graphics however you would like into OBS, right? Any way you can get videos in OBS or images, you can generate images. You can play video clips. You can use web pages. So like these are actually websites that are running these little tickers. Let's get rid of that. So these are web sources, and the comments show up in here as well. And the key is to have the 2 SDI ports. So you'll use 2 of your inputs into the ATEM Extreme, which leaves you 6, but that's just how it goes. If you didn't use the 2 inputs, I can actually show you what'll happen. Let's try this really quick. So if we only had 1, then this is what it's going to look like, right? It's going to be doing a Luma key. So if you're doing a downstream key, you don't have chroma key, you only have Luma key available. And that means you set your clip and your gain. So as I am dragging the clip, so here it's too low, so it's covering up more of the video. So I want to go find the bottom of it, which would be around here. And then the gain will adjust the other end of it. Yeah, so you want to go up like that and find where it stops dimming the video. Oh, but now my text is this. Oh yeah, so this is the big problem with it. See how the little black text in the corner, Aaron Parecki, that is now showing through green because it's black text, which is the same as the black background of the main window here. So they both get keyed out. And if you want to not have that happen, then you use a pre-multiplied key, but you have to have a good alpha channel, and then it's nice and crisp. I want to show you that alpha channel so you can kind of see what I mean. I think the best way to do that is to put it in a multi-view over here. Let's go steal this multi-view for it. I don't remember what I was even doing with this one. I'm going to show you the Ultra Studio Fill and the Ultra Studio key channel on the top, top two, and then let's just put my camera here and the other camera there. Okay, and now I can show you that multi-view somewhere. Oh, there it is. Multi-view 2. Multi-view 3. There it is. So on the left is the fill channel with the graphics, and on the right is the key channel. So you can see how it's got a little notch for the live thing, and because the whole bottom strip is white, it means that it's not going to key out the text as it's doing the overlay. Hopefully that made sense. Thanks for the explanation. And for the software like tickers or scoreboards, what do you prefer? I don't have a lot of preference for software for that kind of stuff. So yeah, who would be a good place to do some research on that? If anybody knows other channels that have good deep dives on that kind of software, drop them in the comments. Ultra Studio HD Mini has also A and B output if you don't rely on HDMI input from the PC. Does it really? I thought this one didn't. It does. You're right. Oh, it's missing the HDMI. So if you don't need HDMI, you can get this and still get your... That's good. That's a lot cheaper. The Mini doesn't have the faceplate on the front. You can buy the faceplate separately. That has a little like... where is their picture of it? Somewhere they have like a little panel you can get for it. But I totally forgot that it does have the key fill also. So the Mini doesn't do 4K. This one does do 4K, but most of the other stuff doesn't do 4K anyway. So yeah, I think I ended up getting this one because I thought I might use the HDMI, which has not happened much. Although I will say I do use the SD card reader on it all the time because it's just right in the rack. So it's actually really convenient to like take an SD card out of the HyperDeck from recording and pop it into the Ultra Studio that's over there really quick. So, but that's cool. You can get the HD Mini if you don't need 4K and if you are only doing the SDI key fill output. Oh, thank you for the super chats, everyone. Techno Buzz, thanks for all your great support this year. Have a Christmas drink on me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I absolutely will. That is the next step after this stream, in fact. Oh, what are you doing? Says it's cute with, I'm not going to say it. Too many videos say Alexa. Oh, funny. Okay. Yeah. Oh, and Koala as well. Thank you so much for the super chats. I need to move my comments up. I think that's the solution, is to just shift them up. I can't really do that right now, though. I have to go hack some code to make that work. I wanted to go show you a replay of feeding the cats because that was so loud. It was so loud. So right at the top of the hour, in the house, the Vesta board, which is the clicky clacky train board, it updates like with the weather forecast on it. I don't have a picture easy to show you. I might have a picture on my phone of the, I don't even know where to find it. No. Anyway, it makes a little, before it starts doing the flaps, it makes a couple little tiny clicks that the cats can hear. And what also happens at the top of the hour is the automatic food dispenser goes off. So they are just like passed out, napping, and then it starts to make the tiny little clicks, and they bolt over to the food and rush to go meet the food as it comes out of the food dispenser, and it's just like, look at this, it's complete chaos. I wish I had the sound, but actually I might be able to do that. Let's see if that works. Yeah, there's the Vestaboard going, and then there's the food, and there's the cats. So every hour, at the top of the hour. Yeah. Oh, Koala says, how are you running power to all your gear without tripping the breakers? Are you using a UPS? Prayers? Yeah. It's a good question. So let me see. What's the best? The UPS is on the bottom. So most things in the studio are powered in that rack. That's plugged into one wall outlet. There's a UPS on the bottom, and I don't think that UPS is plugged into a server, so I can't monitor it remotely. But it should say on it how much watts are being used. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. Oh my god. That's a lot. So that's using 400 watts. It's more than I thought. Wow. Okay. 400 watts. It's also powering a TV, so I guess that could be part of it. That's using 400 watts. And then this desk is plugged into a different UPS on a different wall outlet. These two wall outlets are actually on different circuits because I ran the power in this room. So I ran the power to that wall separately. I ran the power to those two walls as one circuit. And then this wall was already here. And this is like the main garage circuit, but I didn't want to plug everything into just the one circuit. So, yeah, it's a combination of being on different circuits of the panel and everything's on a UPS. Wow, 400 watts. That's a lot. I should really, I feel like it wasn't always that much. Huh. Okay. Yeah, we do need to ask Photo Joseph the same question. Let me go scroll back because I saw some questions that I missed earlier. Did I get a chance to look at the OBSBOT Tail Air? I did. So, this is actually a upcoming video. It's not out yet. So I have a whole bunch of videos queued up. So there's gonna be videos dropping every week, which is great. So I just need to get the thumbnails done. But I do have a video about controlling the OBSBOT with Companion, which will be fun. So you can make a little companion buttons to do PTZ. Well, I actually demoed that on, I think it was last week's live stream or 2 weeks ago, possibly the one before that. But that was a fun demo of building the companion buttons. Yeah, they're good little cameras. I'm impressed. Rodney says, I'm trying to decide between the web presenter and YoloBox Mini and YoloCast. Is the bonding feature worth it? If you are streaming not in your studio, if you're like going on location, I would actually probably get the YoloBox Mini, not the web presenter. And the reason for that is the web presenter does not handle bad internet very well at all. So I haven't actually tested this with the new SRT streaming, but at least with Rtmp, it falls apart. As soon as the internet gets bad, it just like the cache fills up, it locks up. You can't stop streaming until it dumps the cache. The failover between Ethernet and cell is not seamless like I would like either. So if you need it to be like not in your studio where you don't trust where you don't know the internet connection, you probably have better luck with the YoloBox Mini as the encoder. Even without their bonding thing. And if you do get their bonding thing, then even better. Is a 3D printer or anything else on the shelf to the right powered from the UPS or just the wall? No. Anything on that shelf is plugged into a power strip that's down below that's on the wall. 400 watts is under 4 amps, so not too bad. Yeah, but it's still a lot of watts. MT says our outlets on our 16 amp fuse is 3500 on 230 volts. Yeah, so we're 120 volts. Did you do a video on how to connect them? I have trouble to get ours to connect. So no, I don't. That's I mentioned it briefly in the video, which is not out yet, so it's not helpful anyway. It's coming out. Maybe I'll post that one next. Not tomorrow. That would be weird, but maybe Tuesday. I did have some trouble getting it to connect to the phone app every now and then. Like sometimes it just wouldn't connect. So what I had the best luck with was using the USB Ethernet adapter that they sell, which is it's a PoE adapter also, so you can give it power over Ethernet, and then it plugs into the camera over USB, which gives it power and a network connection. And then you don't need to do setup because it's just on your network and you can find the IP address from your router. So, and give it static IP addresses that way. And then you don't need to use the app, which is better. So that's my recommendation for that. Morton says, are you still happy with your BGH1s, and would you still buy them given that Blackmagic has now released a 50% cheaper micro cameras, and why? I am still happy with them. We'll start with that. Blackmagic did release cheaper versions of, where is it? The micro camera. This one. I had the first version of this, and I wasn't a huge fan. It really needed a lot of light, so I'm curious if this is better in that front. I got the BGH1s on a very, very good discount because someone was selling a whole batch of them, and I bought 8 of them. I would not have bought 8 of them at full price, so the price of this is definitely a lot more attractive for sure. The big difference here is that the remote control possibility for these cameras is from the ATEM only, which also means it can't actually do everything. It's not fully remote control. So any of the any of the stuff in here is what you can control. So like shutter speed and white balance and color grading and all that stuff for sure. Power zoom, even if you have a zoom lens. But what's not possible is like camera settings. So like you can't push the menu button remotely, right? That is not the case, however, with the Lumix cameras. And this is one of the reasons I like the Lumix cameras, is if you open up... Oh, I haven't launched on this computer yet. I wonder where I wrote the password down. I'm finding all these... there it is. Finding all these things that you have to do on a new computer when you set one up. There we go. So this, let's open up the camera list and live view. Okay, so here's my overhead camera. What's really cool is that I can press the menu button here, and now I'm just on the... It's like I'm physically using the camera, right? And I'm going through the menu. So you can do things like change your recording mode. You can change the format and the quality. All that stuff you can do here, which is not the same with the Blackmagic. Blackmagic cameras is like having only this panel of just like the exposure settings. So it's a tough call. It's really nice that these Blackmagic cameras are a lot cheaper, and for a lot of things it'd be fine. But I'm still pretty happy with the fully remote control option. Oh, are we stuck? Is the weather not working anymore? It should be rotating through. I hadn't even noticed. It should have been rotating through a lot more than that. I wonder why. it's, oh, it's, because there is a bug somewhere. Aha, probably this one. Someone added Antarctica. Yep, that's what it was. As soon as Antarctica got in there, it messed it up because there was no time zone set. Darn. Okay, well, it should update in a second now. There we go. I can't remember the cron or how often it... Oh, now we've got some more chats coming in. Oh my god, okay. I've got some programming to do later, apparently, to fix this. Are you aware that there's a hidden webpage in the OBSBOT Tail to control and set NDI? Oh, I did not realize that. That's really good to know. I will have to check that out. The building sheriff says, hi, I did a gig last week and my YoloBox Mini completely froze as I pressed go live. That's a bummer. Held on the power button to try and turn it off and it wouldn't do anything. Froze for about 5 minutes, then reset on its own. Causing quite a few problems with regard to the client. Have you ever had this? I'm sorry to hear that. And you were using their bonding service. I don't know. That has not happened to me, actually. I've had it crash for other reasons, but it's always been like a quick crash. That's a bummer. I guess just make sure it's up to date and then like email support and ask them. That is unfortunate though. The weather's not updating. Let me force it. There we go. Okay, now we got some more cities coming in. That sounds like the same behavior that Android does when it freezes. Have you had that happen on other Android phones? I don't use Android devices other than the YoloBox. Have I heard any update about the video files audio coming to the YoloBox? No, just the I think Frank responded to a comment on my channel at some point in the last week saying it was on the list, but that's all I know about it. The weather should be going through more cities than this. Why is it? Oh. I think I forgot to do a critical part of this, which is which is make it actually cycle through. So it's finding the first 2 cities in the list. Oh well. See if I can at least randomize it. Nope. Oh, I thought that was a... And now I broke it entirely. There we go. Okay, now at least when it refreshes, it should come back in a random 2 cities. Well, we'll get this right. It shouldn't be getting stuck in Fahrenheit. Am I able to keep the list of cities for troubleshooting later? Yes, it is all logged. Oh, it looks like the weather is pulling data from random provinces within a city. I noticed that in a couple of places. It is so the weather API that I'm using comes back with like, I asked for a location for a weather near a lat long, and it comes back and says like, oh, here's this name of this place that the weather is from. And I noticed that it is not always cities. So I don't know exactly what they use for that. Yes, Android does that, but it's usually because of the software, not the OS itself. Yeah, it's a tough balance. Like iOS is more aggressive about shutting down hung apps, which is good, I guess, because then it doesn't look like the device is frozen. But yeah. I might need to expand the name. Might need to use like the actual city name instead of just the neighborhood for these. What is my experience with central control? I have no experience with it. Do I have a what year I use video that shows all the rack? I don't think I do. Because the last time I did a video about the studio, it was right before I installed the rack. It was in the old layout. I may have had the rack actually. I think I did have the rack at that point, but it's quite a lot different now. So yeah, I should do that. I think that's a good end of your video to make anyway, right? Like here's my setup for 2023, because it was actually mostly the same all year, if I remember correctly. Is that possible? That I went a whole year without ripping apart the entire studio? There's no way. There's no way that's possible. Let's see. It looks like things were a little bit different here, but not too much. And there was Happy New Year 2023. Okay, so that was the old layout, but this one, I started getting back to this layout. Let's see. There's a whole segment in here about the web presenter crash. Oh, okay. This is a behind the scenes of the new layout. So this is when I switched to this layout at the beginning of the year. Okay. So things are a little different now, but I still have that rig for the overhead and mic. That's the same. I moved that shelf in the back. There's now a desk back there, and I have curtains. So, and then how far along was the rack? Oh, pretty far along. Okay. Man, it's so much more cluttered in here now. Well, you know what I need to do is I need to sell a bunch of this stuff first. So go buy my gear. Because I need to get that cleaned out. I guess it's time to do a best gear of 2023 video. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to my new studio. Yep, I will do that. I think it's a good video. What do I use? What VPN do I use, and what are the ways I use a VPN? So I don't use a VPN service that like you would get in a YouTube ad, and I hope I never do a VPN ad on this channel. You've probably got some from YouTube, but I'm not going to read a VPN ad. I think that the way that most of those are marketed is terrible, and I don't believe in that. So what I do though is I run a VPN server in the closet on a Raspberry Pi, and it's called WireGuard. It's open source. There's also there's a slightly easier version of that. It's a little bit more cloud managed. What's it called? Tailscale. But same concept. So it's a VPN server running on the Raspberry Pi, and then what that means is that when I'm out of the studio, I can VPN into the studio. So it's not like the VPNs that let you like watch Netflix in a different country, because the those are where you're calling out to some other country, and then the connection starts from there. So instead, the point of the VPN that I use is I want to be able to access the gear in the studio when I'm out of the studio. So if I'm out of the studio, I can VPN in, and then it's like I'm on the local network, and I can get to all the devices from their IP addresses locally. And I can use, if I want to be really fancy, I can set up the VPN client on my little travel router. Then the travel router VPNs in, and then anything behind that travel router can get into my studio. So I was testing the Magewell Director Mini while I was traveling, and the Director Mini doesn't have a VPN client in it, but because it was connected to my travel router, the travel router was VPN into the studio, and then the Director Mini could do SRT locally to my studio, so it was very cool. So yeah, that's normally what I do for VPNs. When I had the two locations, I also had a bidirectional VPN, so both networks were able to route traffic to each other over the VPN. And it was like when I was at home, I could get to the studio devices the same way as at the studio and didn't have to run VPN clients on anything. I have never looked at OPN Sense for the firewall. I use Unify for the router and firewall, and then so the VPN is just a separate box that sits off to the side. IT Never Gets Old just got here. As the year comes to a close, thanks for providing great info and entertainment nearly every week. Thanks for joining. I've only missed a couple of weeks this year. Not too bad. Not too bad. Elite Artisan says, is the web presenter hardware a must for live streaming, or things work fine without it? Well, if you're using an ATEM that doesn't have streaming built in, then you need something to stream that. So the ATEM Minis, the Pro and the Pro ISO Mini and Extreme, those models all have the streaming encoder built in, so you don't need a web presenter. Those can just push directly. If you're streaming from something else like a YoloBox, it just streams. But if you're using an ATEM that is in a rack, then those ATEMs don't have streaming encoders built in. So you need a separate device to stream. So I could go from that to an ATEM Mini that can stream, or I could go from that to a YoloBox and stream. But what I do here is I go from that into a web presenter and then stream from that. So it's just a streaming encoder. There's a ton of different streaming encoders you could use. It doesn't even have to be Blackmagic. You could use a Magewell streaming encoder as well. The web presenter just has this nice little status display thing, which is, sorry, blocked by the light. But the little status board with the, showing you the audio levels and the cache status and things like that, which is cute. But plenty of other options if you don't want to get that one. Any thoughts on a brand of low latency NDI camera? I haven't tried too many NDI cameras yet, so I still need to actually turn on the NDI feature on my OBSBOTs that are here, so I haven't actually done that test yet. But no, I haven't done a ton of looking around for NDI cameras. I mostly just use it for my phone for phone wireless cameras. The weather seems to be behaving a little better now. Oh, I missed this one earlier from Tim. YoloBox Pro or go for extra money and get the Ultra? Is it that much of a difference? Honestly, at this point, if you're going to buy a YoloBox that's not the Mini, I would go for the Ultra. I would spend the extra money on it. And that's because it's a significant bump in CPU, and it has the vertical mode built in. So it's like having the in-stream built into it. And it is a lot more powerful, and I do think that it's going to be able to get more features added in firmware longer than the YoloBox Pro will be able to at this point. So that's what I would say on that. How can we take a live caller from a mobile phone by using ATEM Mini or ATEM Mini Extreme? So the ATEM Mini is not going to really be at all part of the answer here. The ATEM Mini has no function for remote callers of any kind, really. It's just HDMI in. So you'll need something to turn a remote caller into an HDMI feed, and for that, there's a ton of options. And if you want your callers to be joining only from a mobile phone, nothing more complicated than that, then one option is like Zoom. You get them to join over Zoom, and then you use Zoom ISO to in a computer and stuff to convert that to a, you know, at the end of the day, an HDMI feed that goes into the ATEM. There's a handful of streaming software that can do this as well. Like Ecamm has a guest mode, vMix has a guest caller features, and then those can output the guest over HDMI that you could bring into the ATEM as well. So it's a big topic, but the ATEM, it doesn't have anything that's going to help you in that. You're just going to be looking for a way to get a guest feed into HDMI. Would I consider virtual production in the future, live streaming in front of a green screen and replacing the background? Possibly. I need to set things up a little bit different in here for that to work well. But the I will say the Blackmagic Ultimate thing, I did a demo of that earlier if you want to dig up that live stream. It does a very, very good job of green screening. Very convincing. So I could see doing that. It'd be kind of fun. IT never gets old. Totally off topic, but I've wondered for a long time, does the classic Mac in the background boot up? No. So the hard drive is corrupted or something, and it just has like the little dead Mac logo when it turns on. But I did actually already buy, and they're sitting on top of it. That's that little brown line up there. It's this little kit that you can use to make it boot, like to revive the Mac by replacing the hard drive. So it's not like an old hard drive. It's like totally different hardware that emulates a hard drive. And then there's also a card for giving it network access. So this has been on the backlog of projects because it's very low priority. But I do want to get it booting back up. Can you explain the NDI capability? Do we have to pay for the NDI service on the Ultra? Yeah, it is a separate add-on. So on the YoloBox Ultra, there is a separate, I don't think it's a subscription. I think it's a one-time fee because it's just the NDI license. Somewhere in here is, nope. I thought I saw a purchase page. Maybe it's once you're on the device itself. Anyway, you do have to buy the NDI license because NDI licenses are not free for anybody. And if you're not paying for it explicitly, you're paying for it implicitly by usually just the purchase price of the device is higher. So I should just do a video about that because I keep saying it. And anyway, you do have to buy it separately, but then it enables the NDI feature on the device. It does have a trial. I think it says like 5-minute time limit. So you can try it without paying. It's just that it'll like turn off the video after 5 minutes or something. Yeah. After the Craft Computing's review, not the Ultra, it left a sour taste. Like, you can't believe they want you to hand over your credentials instead of using stream keys. So, yeah, okay, a couple things about this. I watched that video and he missed a lot of things about it. I should probably like do a video. I don't want to get like in a YouTuber fight or whatever, but like he really did miss a lot of things in his review. But I do agree that the so you have to make a YOLO Live account in order to use it, which I'm always annoyed when people do this. Like, I feel like the device should just work without logging in. So a little bit annoyed about that, but I got over it and it's fine. It does mean that like your settings sync if you have multiple YOLO boxes, which is pretty nice. When you go to log into YouTube, so on the box there's like you know, a YouTube button to add a YouTube account. When you do that, it opens up a browser on the device where you log in. And the reason it does that is because it is actually an Android device, and this is how it would work on an Android phone. It just opens up a browser and you log in that way. I'm also not a big fan of that because my password for my Google account is extremely long. and it takes a lot of time to type it in on the Android keyboard. So, oh, thank you, ProCopy. Your comment popped up automatically because it found your location. And now your weather forecast should appear for all of Australia. You log in with your in like a little browser into your Google account, and then it can find your YouTube channel, and it can do things like, you know, create a new live stream on there. Most importantly, that's how it's able to pull the comments. So your comments show up on there as well. You don't. So that I would prefer if it actually did it the way that the Magewell device does, which is the way that you see connecting a YouTube account on a TV, where it says like, go to this little link and enter the 6-digit code on your computer. And the benefit there is that I can use my password manager on the computer, log in that way, and then I don't have to type in my password on the device. Both of those end up with OAuth access tokens on the YoloBox. So you do need to trust the device itself to manage that, which if you're streaming with it, you're probably trusting it anyway. But the but yeah, this was actually, so in the very first PDF of feedback I sent to YOLO Live, this was like 3 years ago when they sent the first YoloBox to me. That was my first comment. I was like, you need to change the way this login works. And they have not yet. So, and yeah, David, this is a good point. I use passkeys and hardware 2FA for my Google account. Curious how YoloBox will deal with that. Well, it's the same way that it works with any Android device that doesn't have these capabilities. You actually might be able to use like a plug-in YubiKey over USB into the YoloBox and have it work, because it's just an Android phone at the end of the day. So if you ever logged into an Android device, that's how it will work. As we're getting more and more of this, like this hardware security stuff, it becomes more and more important to do the OAuth flow the way that you see on TVs for these kinds of devices. So I hope they do fix that. However, the other part of this is that you don't actually have to log into YouTube to stream from the YoloBox, because you could just do it over Rtmp. Like, you do have the ability to just add a stream key, and then you don't have to give it any credentials to YouTube at all. So no OAuth, no password or anything. The only limit is that you're not able to create new shows from the YoloBox. Then you have to go into the website to do it, and you won't be able to get comments back either. So, yeah. Do you think the feedback on the connector stability with the USB-C connection and HDMI ports are warranted, or was that an issue with his device? The HDMI ports on mine have all been fine. I have no complaints there. I guess I could see that the USB-C connection is not quite as firm as other devices, but it didn't stand out as like a big problem to me. I don't know. But I guess I don't use my USB-C port very often, because I'm never using it as a webcam, and I'm sometimes I plug in USB devices like the DJI Osmo Pocket or whatever, but I don't use the USB port a ton, so maybe that's why I haven't noticed it. But the HDMI ports seem fine. What do I think about using the new Unify Express instead of your travel router for point-to-point VPN? You know, I haven't actually looked into that. That is... Oh yeah, I remember seeing this when it dropped. I will have to think about this. Yeah, interesting. I don't know if it makes sense as a travel router or more as installations. Oh my god, you probably can't hear the cats, but they are running around upstairs. Stomp, 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 stomp. Perth, currently at 21C at 2:45 a.m. Expecting 34C. No thanks. Well, thank you for joining. You are up late or early? Glorious pool weather today. Yeah, sounds like it. Opposite of a white Christmas, I guess. The building sheriff says, my wife has just walked in and is totally amazed that you actually answered my question. No problem. I will admit I don't remember what your question was, though. Oh, the YoloBox freezing. Oh, yeah. Any update on the possible SDI version of the OC switcher? I have no news to report there, but I will report as soon as I hear anything. Elite Artisan, do you agree with the Chinese saying, those who are into videography will be poor for 3 generations? Yeah. Oh, Santa Claus visited, and where was that? Isn't Santa from like right around your neighborhood there then? Left me Stream Deck XL and UV5R Plus. Nice. You did hear it. Have me looking out the window. How long does it take to set up a live stream with all the hardware turned on? For me, well, part of it is I leave all this stuff turned on almost all of the time, which now that I know that rack is 400 watts, I might shut it down more often. I've noticed our electric bill is getting up there. But yeah. David says, in my personal opinion, building something like that on Android is asking for trouble. If Blackmagic wanted to build a similar product, they would own that market segment with their experience. They do have a very good OS that they use for their cameras and all their other devices, for sure. Running on Android makes sense for in some ways though, because you get so much stack for free. You get like, there's even a browser in there already. There's like the whole settings screen. There's the whole networking stack. Magewell with the Director Mini also built it on Android, and they've also done a very good job of making it really not look like Android. So we'll see. But I will say that both the Director Mini and the YoloBox have I've been pleasantly surprised at how well they behave despite being built on Android. Let me just put it that way. You might notice I don't have any Android phones, and that's not an accident. We would like to do mobile moving vehicle for mixing and streaming where cameras are connected wirelessly to the vehicle. Please share your inputs on this. Oh, if you are doing wireless cameras on vehicles, you probably want to go look at all the wireless HDMI transmitters. Hollyland, one of the headlines running in the ticker today, is Hollyland just has a new version of this. They have a bunch of different models, but this is the new one. These are probably going to be your best bet. They're not cheap, but these are the cheap versions of this kind of thing. There's also more expensive ones that are lower latency or even less compressed, which are 2 or 3 times the cost. But this will give you a point-to-point link for the video. So if you have a car driving around, of course, keep in mind the maximum distance on these, then you get that point-to-point video link. If you're talking about distances that are like farther than whatever's the 300 or 400 feet those are rated to, then you might need to switch to a totally different mode of thinking, which is everything going over like SRT. So give every car an internet connection, bonded internet connection, plug in a camera to an SRT encoder in the car, push that up to a cloud or a VPN somewhere, and then you're limited by internet distances, not line of sight distances. ATEM Extreme versus Studio Television, which is better? I have a video for you about exactly that. The ATEM Television Studio HD8 ISO versus ATEM Mini Extreme. I will drop that link in the chat. all of my thoughts are in that video, so go take a look at that. I just don't want to rehash it here. Thank you, Technicom Media, for the super chat for the electric bill. Merry Christmas. Thanks. Yeah. RIP my electric bill. Soon we'll have solar panels, and that'll help. That'll help some. Santa Claus Village is about 7 hours away, near Rovaniemi. I went there a couple of years ago. It was a lot of fun. Okay, we're coming up on the end of the 2-hour mark here, so I'm gonna wrap this up soon. But couple last questions. Do I use Genlock? I don't. Right now, none, not at all. So everything's just free floating or whatever. It just means that everything's not exactly frame sync accurate, but that's fine for this. I could get, I guess, technically slightly lower delay on that back screen, but I think most of that delay is actually just in the TV itself. Solar panels must output at least more than 500 watts. Totally depends on the cloud cover and the angle of the sun and the time of the year, but I will have graphs for all of it soon. It'll be fun. I'll be able to monitor. Oh, that's interesting. I'm just realizing I might need to add a conduit because the panels are going to come into the meter, but I'm only measuring. My measuring stuff at the panel, not the meter. Oh, interesting. I might have to. Good time to do it right now before the sheetrock goes in. Don't forget to hit that like button. Yeah. Oh, let's see if this works. There we go. I made a little animation that I can run. This is actually loaded into the media player on the ATEM. I decided to do that instead of from a hyperdeck because it was only like 190 frames. So it is running in the media player, which is pretty cool. Are you crazy about cable management, or is everything a mess there but we can't see? Everything is a mess that you can't see. Here, I'll show you what the room looks like right now. So some of this is because things are in flight. Like there's a stack of boxes over here for things that are either in or out. I need to sell that light. I need to sell this box on the floor. The cables, though, a bunch of them run down along this wall, and those are pretty tidy. Behind this desk is a bit of a mess, and then inside the rack is unfortunately a complete disaster. It is extremely hard to navigate back there just because everything's very full. And I don't know how I'm going to deal with adding. I think I'm going to add a new hyperdeck in here actually, and then I'm going to have that 2110 converter and the Thunderbolt dock somewhere. I don't know where they're going to go. Yeah. What is the max length of HDMI cable in ATEM Mini Extreme takes? It depends on the camera too. It's not just the ATEM. And I like the table as a stand for the Unify access point. Yeah, it's a mess in here. The length of the cable will depend on not just the ATEM, but also what's plugged into it. So some cameras will output a signal that the ATEM can handle better. So there's not a easy answer to that, unfortunately. I would generally try to stay away from anything longer than like 20 feet. And if you do want to go longer than that, then just get a fiber HDMI cable. And then those can go a lot farther, which is nice. Cat feeding in 2 minutes. Okay, we'll stick around for the cat feeding. Do we need to talk about the skeleton in the room? Yes. So funny story. Well, I will tell you this funny story while we wait for the cat cam. So So the skeletons, I got the skeletons to decorate the house while it's under construction for Halloween, and I got little hard hats and construction high vis vests for them as well, and I put them like climbing up the roof. It was very cool. Got a lot of comments from the neighbors as they were walking by, and the cats are just looking for trouble. Oh, one's gonna get attacked. Look at this. Okay, but it's almost... Oh, there it goes! Okay, there's the 11 o'clock. So after they've been working on the construction now, not the skeletons, the crew has been working on the house, and they're starting to fill up the place with drywall, so I had to get the skeletons out of there, so I put them under the stairs outside, along with my hand truck that's been out there for months. And while I was gone, where was I? Oh, it was last weekend in Hawaii, which is why I'm still slightly sunburned. At like 3 a.m., somebody came in the back and was poking around the yard, and I got this screen full of notifications on my phone when I woke up of like, person was detected in the yard. And he was poking around, and he stole the hand truck from back there. I will give him props though, because he was on a bicycle. He grabbed the hand truck, tied it to his seat post, and just pulled it away with him. So maybe he deserves it. But then what was weirder is that 2 hours later, still dark, 5:30 a.m., still pitch black, he came back, went back to the deck, took the skeleton out, took the high-vis vest off the skeleton, dropped the skeleton, and ran off with the vest. Why he needed the high-vis vest that bad and came back for it 2 hours later, I don't know. So yes, that is very random. Ironically, I was in the middle of some Home Assistant automations, and here, I just have to show this screenshot of notifications because it's too funny. The irony of this is that, so like 2 months ago, I was in, when I was in, where was it? Prague. Because of the time zone difference, it's like, 10 a.m. there, and I'm like going about the day. I was actually sitting down at my computer to get some work done. And I got a notice that like motion was detected. And I have a little alarm that's supposed to be wired up, like a buzzer that makes noise outside. And it had just got kicked off my Wi-Fi because I changed my Wi-Fi SSID. So it'd been on my list to fix this. And I was like, oh, well, if I have a siren hooked up and I can trigger it from Home Assistant, then what if I also made it trigger automatically? So the first step of this is to wire up my Home Assistant. This sort of turns into a home automation channel. At the end of it, every time. Let me show you the little automations because it's actually kind of cool. Yeah, nothing on here that is secret. So in Home Assistant, what I did was, if the camera detects a person, so the unified cameras have person detection on them, the new ones do. So it's not just motion detection, it's actually person detection. It will route it through to the different modes. So if the alarm is armed in night mode, it'll do different things than if it's armed in vacation mode. So what I did is I made vacation mode and night mode, notify my phone, and then this one I disconnected for while I was gone because I was testing it out. And what it does now is it will actually, once a minute, trigger that siren. So while I was in Hawaii, I had this first part built out, and I was testing it by just watching for notifications on my phone. So on my phone, when I woke up that day, this is what was on my phone. Just boom, 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 boom. Person detected in the driveway, in the yard, in the driveway. And yeah. So it works, And then when I got back, I fixed the siren to get back on the new Wi-Fi. And now if the house is in vacation mode or night mode and a person's detected in the yard, it will notify my phone and make a very loud siren go in the yard. And that is hopefully enough to scare them away, which I imagine it would be because it's very loud. So we'll see. I'm going to test it today because I'm about to go, for like family holiday time, still in Portland, but I'm going to be gone the rest of the day. And this is a classic time for people to break into places because they assume people are out of town. So I'm going to put it into vacation mode when I leave. And then we're also going to have the cameras pulled up on the big TV in the house when we're over there to watch. If you had the voice on, you could have yelled. He would have been left running, thinking it was a skeleton. Yeah. Weirdly, none of the outdoor Unify cameras have a speaker in them. The indoor ones do. So I can talk through my cameras in the studio indoors, but not to the ones outdoors. I don't know why they don't do it that way. Speaking of, I saw somebody ask us earlier, any recommendation for indoor security cameras without a subscription? So, yeah, so I'm pretty happy with my Unify setup. This absolutely needs to be a video. I should just add this to my list right now. Because it's probably gonna go on the House Files channel, not this channel. But I am pretty happy with the Unify cameras. Been using it for years now. There is no subscription. However, the downside is that if you are running the Unify controller, which is where all the recording and stuff happens, it will only take Unify cameras. So you can't buy generic cameras and connect them to the system. They do that so that you have to buy their cameras, which makes sense because that's how they're making money, because they're not a subscription service, so it's good and bad. I like it. It's been working well for me. The cameras are not that expensive. There's a pretty good range at least. So if you want to spend $2,000 on a camera, you can. If you want to spend $120 on a camera, you can. And they're all pretty good. The ones I have that we were looking at earlier inside are, some of these are actually the old generation. This one I think is the old gen, but the picture's still really good. And then this one I think is newer. But these are all, let's see. This one and this one and this one are all Wi-Fi cameras, and then this one is hardwired, but this is an old gen hardwired one. So I don't know. It's I'm a big fan. No subscription. It's all local. So like these things all record directly to the box that's in the closet on drives that I've purchased. So yeah. Elite Artisan says, can you please explain why we need a hyperdeck? This is gonna be the last on-topic question. I searched and I can't understand why I would need it. Fair question. It is not entirely obvious what they do, frankly, which is weird, but it is a recorder or playback. So they have a bunch of different models. So depending on what features you need, I have both of, oh, here it is. I have both this one and this one. So this one is supports 4K. So if you want to record a 4K feed, you can record directly onto SD cards here. It's a good way to record a 4K camera, not in camera. This one also has the dual SDI output. So if you put video on the SD card that has an alpha channel, then you can, like we were talking about earlier with my web graphics that have a good alpha channel, you can do the same thing with video and whole video clips. I did that with the clip in here. So there's an alpha channel here so they can actually properly do transparency of this, but this is limited to, it's what, it's like 600 frames total. So at 30 frames a second, that's, where's my math? 30 frames a second. 10 seconds, 20 seconds of video. Yeah. Which is not a ton, right? So if you had a long video clip that you want to use as a, like, you could just have a hour-long looping something, like moving background, or it could be like news tickers or whatever. It's common to do this for like sponsor logos during a conference where you just stick it on an SD card, hit play, and it just loops and plays that forever, so you can use it whenever you want. Playing back video clips that way. The smaller one is only HD, and it doesn't have the dual SDI out, so it's just for video, not graphics, really. And then I don't have the bigger one, but same. I think these are 4K. I think they do like more higher frame rate in 4K, but this one also takes SSDs in addition to SD cards, so that's the other difference. They're great though. They're solid devices. They are very picky about video formats, but that's also a plus because like they're just, once you get video loaded on there, like it will play. There's no delay. There's like, you can do perfect frame by frame scrubbing if you want. They're good little boxes for that. What could you not do without it? So probably the biggest thing is the dual key fill output. So in order to do that from video, else like some other way, it's going to be pretty much buy a computer and use a computer. So if you want to be able to do motion graphics with alpha channel, proper alpha channel, that's really the best way to do it. The other things would be, you can script them from Companion. You can automate them from Companion, and not a lot of other recorders can do that. Even the Blackmagic Video Assists can't do that. So that means that, like, I actually do this all the time when I'm recording videos, because I use these to record videos now. On my Stream Deck, I have a page here that's like, hit record on the two different hyperdecks. I have a whole page to record and play back. So if I'm doing like, I can use one to play, to like see what I just recorded, go back and hit play and hit record again. Things like that, where doing that some other way would be either, you know, physically pushing buttons on a device or just more awkward. So that gives you some ideas. Okay, we're going to wrap this up with a super chat from the Building Sheriff. Thank you very much for that. I definitely do need to move my little graphics up to make room for the super chats. Thank you for that. Let's actually go ahead and get rid of those. Anyway, I hope you like the new little headline feature and weather ticker. I will try to get those cleaned up a bit to get rid of the glitches before the next stream, which will be the long one, the New Year's stream. So next week is New Year's Eve. So I'm planning on streaming until from my current time to New Year's Eve on the East Coast of the United States, which will be 9 p.m. here. Hopefully have some guests brought in throughout the show. I might have some fireworks to show as well from some of the viewers here. If you are a channel member, then in the Discord, we can coordinate on if you want to send me video feeds of things. Like if you're going to point a camera out the window at fireworks, I can pull that into the stream. Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see what kind of trouble we can get up to next week. Maybe I'll have some more automations to test out. Okay, and with that, I will say thank you to everybody for super chats. Thank you to all the channel members for all of your support. Thanks for the questions every week, and thanks for keeping it interesting in here. Yeah, I see you on the members Discord. If you are a channel member, we will chat more throughout the week about things that come up, and see how it goes. And yeah, thank you to everybody. Thanks. Happy New Year, early New Year, and I will see you all again later. I have so many channel members that I can't actually talk the whole time while the credits are rolling. Thanks everybody again. It's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna go eat some food and have a little holiday time. So much fun. Yes. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I will see you all again, same time, same place next week. Have a good holiday season. Bye.